And so I think he's in his early 90s. They were practicing law at the same time.
Y'all ready?
It's stressful in that thing.
It's 6 o'clock. We are calling this meeting to order. If y'all wouldn't mind standing with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman Miller, would you lead the invocation?
Thank you. Would you join me in prayer? Heavenly Father, once again, Lord, before we do anything, we want to tell you that we are thankful for this day, because it's a day that you allowed us to see that we have never witnessed before and we'll never see again. Then, Lord, we thank you, Lord, for all your many different blessings, how you continue to bless us in spite of. Now, Lord, as we go before the business of this city, we ask you, Father, that the decision that we make on tonight, first, Lord, that they be pleasing in thy sight. Then, Lord, we just thank you for the opportunity you have given each and every one of us to serve in whatever capacity it might be. And we just thank you, Lord, and we just lift you up. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Can I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Can I have a motion to approve the docket of claim numbers listed in item number 5?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes.
Mayor, I'd like to recuse myself from the next vote.
The record will reflect that Alderman Piper has recused himself and left the boardroom before the next item. Can I have a motion to approve the claim number listed in item 6?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, item 7 is to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting of July 5th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Roll call.
Alderman Wicker,
Aye.
Alderwoman Ross,
Aye.
Alderman Piper,
Aye.
Alderman Harris,
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch,
Aye.
Alderman Miller,
Abstain.
Alderman Robinson.
The motion passes. Item 8 is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 9 is the discussion of us working with the Chamber of Commerce on wayfinding signs. Just as a brief overview, a few different board members had talked to me about the need for wayfinding signs to make sure when people are in our town or coming to our town that they can find the shopping and the restaurants and all the places they need to find, such as the library. So when the grant became available to the Chamber of Commerce, or the Mississippi Main Street Association, Hernando Main Street, the Main Street decided they wanted to help with that. So would one of y'all like to come up and talk about that, or y'all? Dr. Clay.
Good evening. We got the grant, and so we decided to partner with the city to help do the wayfinding signs in the Main Street area to help just grow our tourist dollars and to help people find where they need to go.
And so our part of that would be that that grant can only be used inside the Main Street District, the official Main Street District. So the city's portion would be the signs outside the district that get them from the interstate up at Mackinville, maybe the field house, down to the core of town.
Yeah, that's especially one of the concern I had, because ever since the field house has been there, it's been a problem, because they've been taking, when they're out there for activity, instead of them making that left turn, they're making a right and going back to South Haven and eat. And, you know, we need, what's the timeline on y'all's signage?
We need to have it submitted to the state in August and by January, and then it'll get passed and for implementation for potentially in 24.
And that's a good question, but what could be happening is the city could be doing our
I just been
portion
saying,
earlier than that.
we need to do our portion out there now because,
Yep.
we get into the season now, there's gonna be plenty of activities out there now. We're doing a disservice to our local business, especially the business there on McInville and Commerce Street. They losing out on a lot of revenue there for just a simple putting up a sign or making a left turn. I mean, it's just pretty, it seems kind of small, but really in the big picture, it's a big thing.
It really
Like I
is.
said, we've been talking about this ever since the field house opened, and I thought for sure now we would have some signage out there, but for whatever reason, it hadn't happened. And
So what we do have now is a proposed map of where they're gonna go that Austin created this week. So from the city side, we'll go ahead and start on our portion of it, and then everybody can kind of see what it's gonna look like. Obviously, but what I wanted to say, and the reason the chamber's here is, I wanted to make sure that everybody recognized that the chamber is using some of this money in a grant that they're getting that's gonna help the entire city. And I think partnering with the chamber is what we're all about, and we do it every year, and it seems like we're doing it on more and more things recently. So I wanted to bring that to everybody's attention about our great partnership. And our president of the chamber, Jody, is back there as well. So, anything else you want to say, Dr. Clay?
That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, number 10, approval of the health insurance carrier, United Healthcare, with negotiated premiums and an 8% decrease. Donna and Chad, y'all want to come up and present that to us?
Mayor and board, thank y'all for having us once again, and we have good news once again. First off, thanks to Bruce and Donna, huge help in getting this negotiated. I can't tell y'all how, what a blessing it's been for me and Donna to have Alderman Robinson involved in the process, and just helping negotiate and knowing the ins and outs. But the sheet that Donna put together for us, we've got the last year's rates, and then this year's rates. Again, that's an 8% decrease, just so you can kind of see the difference on the third column there. You'll be able to see the cost difference and then the savings. Oh, they do?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, yours is a summary of everything.
I can give you all specific numbers, but the individual employee-only difference goes from $587.25 a month to $540.27 per month, which is an 8% decrease, which would be a savings for the city of approximately $7,300 a month, or $88,000 a year. And part of the negotiation was that we would not shop it if y'all would adopt it. And so that's the way we're presenting it, based on the mayor and the alderman and Donna and I putting it all together. Any questions on the health insurance side?
And so, from your perspective, obviously, 8% sounds like a great deal.
I just don't want y'all to
feel
get
good about this?
We feel really good about it. My concern is, and Bruce going to test this, we just want to get used to it. I mean, it's been a really good.
Alderman Miller, do you have something you want to add?
No, I just want to say for the ones that are aware, I mean, this is record breaking. 2 years in a row, a decrease that never happened in the history of the city. And
This
so,
actually gets the city back to the 2015 rates
well, that's what I'm saying, but
with the exact same plane design.
I said don't get used to it neither, but this, for us, it's still record breaking, 2 years of decrease in a row. That's fantastic. So we thank y'all, Robinson. Something good at.
Healthy employees too. I mean, that's the driving factor. In addition to that, you can see the dental and vision, there's a slight increase on that, and that's keeping it with United Healthcare as well. We would recommend keeping that because we've got it all bundled together. The thing that we don't have today, and Mayor, I don't know how you want to propose this, but we don't have the disability and life insurance renewals back. They aren't due back. We tried, but we're still waiting those.
We can just adopt those at a different date.
We can do that at a different date if y'all want.
But we need to go ahead and adopt this tonight so we can get the open enrollment date set and move forward.
That's exactly right.
Any other questions? Is there anyone with the public that would like to speak on this topic? Is there a motion to adopt the new insurance rates for the upcoming year?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion passes.
Awesome.
Thanks again for the hard work.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, item 11 is and approval to extend the emergency declaration of June 18, 2023 for continued debris pickup. Lee, would you like to come up and talk about what we've done and where we are and what you expect to happen in the near future and how soon we can get out of this?
Our trucks have been running along with Addison Tree Service. I think the dollar figure right now is around $45,000 in invoices that we received for that. They're still hitting the ground every single day, working. Our guys are working anywhere from 5 to 7 days a week, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. We're using Addison primarily to clean up the larger piles that it would take us 2 or 3 trips. They can get 2.5 of our trucks in one of their trucks. So it makes sense. But unfortunately, we're still, because the city is still got so much brush on the ground, we're having to haul to our shop on the weekends because the dumps are not open. We're dumping it there, and then Addison's taking it from there to the dump. If it was a small amount, like I say, we could kind of work it in or try to, but it's significant. I sent the mayor a picture last week. It's a significant amount. It's probably, I don't know, I would guess 30 or 40 trucks sitting there.
And in addition to the trees, I don't know if everybody knows it, but we had probably 15 or 20 fences blow down too. So all of those fences have been piled at the curb.
Yeah,
for us
it
to
seems
carry
like
away.
a lot of folks are putting fences up too. And then, something we're seeing too is insurance trickling in. So stuff that's still down in people's yards, insurance is finally stepping in and saying, hey, we're ready to get a handle on this. They're hiring a contractor, whoever, doing it themselves, and they're moving all that stuff out of the street. So, we got the initial up, but it's still trickling in with people cleaning up their yards and doing regular, weekend cleanings and fences like the mayor was talking about. So it's coming. I would say safely, Addison is not able to get to us every day. They're still operating a business. So they're having to kind of fit us in when they have slow times, when their trucks aren't running on their jobs. He has 2 trucks, so he dedicates one to himself, and the other ones are kind of just filling in where they can. So I would say within a month we should be able to. But I didn't want you guys to think that we're going to be running
Every day.
5 days a week for a month. So.
And I have, just so everybody knows, I've talked to Mr. Olson at Emergency Management about any possibility of us getting reimbursement, because between what we had to do out at Lee Summit Park and overtime and these trucks, we could get up near $150,000 by the end of this.
Easily.
But Mr. Olson ran the numbers based on our population. He said we would need a direct impact of around $800,000 before we could look for reimbursements. I've also talked to Walt Starr, Trent Kelly's office. He noticed Amory got a check, but Amory had a lot of damage. But he's checking with Trent's office to see if there's any opportunity. Good thing we had a rainy day fund, but it was definitely a rainy day, so we're getting hit pretty hard.
Yes, sir. But like I said, the guys are they're doing all they can.
Lee, so you can safely say that, and we get these inquiries now, and we tell them the same thing, so you can safely say that probably 6 to 8 weeks before we be on a normal basis.
No, sir, we're on a normal basis now. We're running it on a normal basis.
I'm talking about when I say normal basis, catch up. Because what I'm seeing out there, we're not at a normal basis because we hadn't caught up yet, so. And when I said 6 to 8 weeks, that's talking about moving the debris that's at the public works.
Yes, sir.
And then we still got a lot of areas in the areas that was impacted. Then plus the other part of the city that we had not had an opportunity to safely be on the route, not safely, but able to get them on a normal basis where we were. And so I'm saying that, I don't want to mislead the public, so we really talking about 6 to 8 weeks before we get back to a regular basis. That means everything moved from the ground, and we back to your pickup on a Monday, your pickup. So
You're absolutely correct.
that's what I'm saying. I want that, make sure that be known, so people won't say that.
Yes, sir.
He said we'll be back in a month. That's not totally.
We can cut Addison Tree Service loose in a month.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, but
Yes,
it's
sir.
gonna be 6 to 8 weeks before we get back to a
Thank you for clarifying
regular
that.
pickup basis. I just want to.
And what we're
for clarity.
trying to do right now is, on Monday, we hit the Monday route. if they see one of the houses that's got the big pile, we'll skip that one and leave it for Addison so we can stay on the route.
That's right.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
everything is
Yeah, I
possible.
know, they working, I mean, we
Oh, yeah, yeah.
attest to that, but we just don't want the public to be deceived that, he said it, I heard him. That's not okay.
I should have been more clear, yes, sir. We'll be able to cut Addison off hopefully within a month.
And once again, we said it at the last meeting, and I know people say it all the time, but we appreciate all the work your
Oh, yes, sir.
department's doing.
Yes, sir.
All your people are working extra
Everybody pulled
hard.
together, and even citizens, so it's been a group effort for sure.
And then we want to really acknowledge, Scott Smith. Scott Smith did an awesome job of coordinating, volunteers and stuff and making things happen for the citizen that was impacted in that area. I mean, he did an awesome job and he's still doing it. So we would really like to acknowledge what effort he has done.
Good deal. I concur.
Y'all got any more questions?
You are doing great. Thank you.
Can we have a motion to extend the emergency proclamation for one more month, just for Addison Tree Service?
Well, why would we want, what is the purpose to continue the emergency? Why don't we just contract with Addison? What's the difference?
We would have to go out for bids
Bids.
and bid them against each other.
For $150,000?
Yeah, anything under 75, we've got to, and we would have to get minimum of quotes and probably bids because of how much it's
But we
costing.
only done 40 so far, right?
46,000, I think is what's on the docket. But I think legally, though, if we were to keep using them without the emergency declaration, we would have to go out to bids for it. Or at least an RFQ. And I think we need to be clear that all we're asking for is an extension of this portion of it. We're not going to be doing other things that we could have done in the emergency declaration. It's just keeping them under contract. Pam, do you vote? That's what you, okay.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 12 is the approval to proclaim August 3rd, 2023 as H.R. Randy Garner Day. I think y'all are going to have a reception or something at some point. On that day? Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next up is the request from candidate Jim Robinson to speak to the board. Since you're an aspiring politician, we are going to have to limit you to 5 minutes or less.
Well, my pastor would say good luck, because sometimes I get long-winded, but I do appreciate the opportunity to come to speak before you all and speak before the public. Many of you I've known for years. It's been great visiting with folks, but I just wanted to share a little bit about myself since I'm running for Supervisor District 5 for this area. For you again and the public. My family and I have been here for over 2 decades. We have brought our girls up through DeSoto County Schools. We have a 29 that graduated from DeSoto County Schools, Mississippi State, and then went on. She's out in Colorado now. Another one living in Holly Springs, and then we still have a son at home. But we've been a part of DeSoto County for a long time. And I wanted to share a little bit about what I feel sets me apart from the other candidates. What you all are doing here, I appreciate so much, and my hat goes off to you. You all have a difficult job. I appreciate you letting me speak, and I apologize that as soon as I finish speaking, I'm going to run out the door to go back to our board meeting. I was sharing ours is probably going to go to a 10 or 11, but currently I'm city administrator with the city of Horn Lake. Been there for going into my 9th year. Before that, several of you know my history with the YMCA for 21 years. Early 20s, I came down and met with Chip about starting some soccer programs. Actually, the early 2000s. And, you know, we ended up starting some soccer, met with Danny Phillips and started soccer programs out there at the Civic Center. And many things happen through the Y. One thing I am proud of is our after-school program, because one of the, really the 5 components that my campaign is based on, one of them is education. And over the 10 years we've had the after-school program, or they have now, we've changed the lives of a lot of kids in the schools. But I really wanted to focus on my experience with the city of Horn Lake. You all, I was looking at your agenda, and you have a lot of key components on there. Some of the things that I've focused on in my career is integrity in government. I noticed, and you guys are probably getting ready to start your budget, I noticed you all's assessed value went from 201 million to 207 million. And that's a good thing. That growth and your assessed value is enabling you to do these things that you're talking about here tonight. And I've prided myself in being open and working through things like that, knowing our assessed value and our ad valorem and our sales tax, and that's what our cities thrive on to provide the services that we need. And that's one thing I feel that I have the experience in, and appreciate all what you do in putting those things into action with your budgets and your board meetings, and providing those amenities to the citizens. I've got a long history of working with infrastructure issues, been on the Driving DeSoto, gone down to the Capitol for a decade now, working with our legislators on improving and bringing those tax dollars back to DeSoto County, improving our roads, and that's one thing that I think the experience there will lend myself as supervisor. One thing that I did was work with our city engineer and developed a strategic plan for a street project that's going to go over the next 10 to 15 years, where we are going to be paving all of our streets in the city of Horn Lake over that time span. And we put that program together, and that's something that I could bring to the county. I go back to education. I was a former educator in another lifetime. That was over 30 years ago. My wife's an educator in DeSoto County Schools. She teaches at South Haven Elementary. And education is a key here. And I've worked with many of the groups with DeSoto Economic Council on developing our education, our workforce. We got to have people to work for us here in District 5 and across DeSoto County. But then safety in our education. Worked with the Sheriff's Department, with our SRO officers, getting those officers in the schools, along with our officers before that. But public safety is a key. I've worked with all of our departments, our chiefs, in providing those services to the citizens. So just wanted to share a little bit today. Many of you know some of the things I do for the city of Horn Lake. Wanted to share that with the public, and let you all know that I want to be your voice. I understand what it takes to run a city. And I've had several conversations with some of the mayors, and the perspective that I have, I know the struggles. Horn Lake and Hernando about the same budget-wise. I know the struggles we have to pave a street and do some of the infrastructure. And I want to take that to the supervisor level to blend that relationship back with the cities. All the counties and what they do and all the citizens have to come through our cities to do their jobs. And I feel the supervisors and that position needs to look at the cities more and what we give back to the cities. It's a struggle for the cities with tight budgets. When I started with Horn Lake, we were struggling quite a bit. Now we've got surplus, built up our rainy day fund, and I feel that that knowledge will benefit as my supervisor role. If elected on August 8th, we pray that everybody gets out and exercises their right to vote. As Walt Starr always says, we all have a right to vote, and vote August 8th. So I appreciate it. Again, thank you for the opportunity, and you guys are going to get out before we do. I do know that. So.
Thank you, Jim. It's good to see you.
All right, thank you.
Good luck at your board meeting.
It's a lengthy one.
Okay, Austin, would you like to come up and present items 14 and 15?
Yes, sir. Before I get started, I would like to recognize that we did have a public hearing scheduled for tonight for a rezoning request for R20 immediately adjacent to Forest Meadows, and that application's been withdrawn. So I don't think anyone's here tonight, but for the record, that application has been withdrawn and is being reshaped.
Thank you.
The first project is PL 1744. It's a request for final plat at Weatherby West subdivision, which is proposed to be renamed to Scott Meadows. It's on the west side of Oak Grove Road and east of Oak Crossing Drive. And Nick Cronin's here tonight representing the owner of the property. This proposed final plat consists of 60 lots and 58.49 acres. The original zoning of PUD was established in 2020. And so what that means is that preliminary layout in the PUD zoning request served as a preliminary plat. And the way construction typically goes with the subdivision is the rezoning goes, a preliminary plat's approved, construction documents are approved, the subdivision's physically built, and the final plat comes back in the tail end. And per the subdivision regulations, as long as that final plat substantially conforms to that of the preliminary, the ordinance states the board shall approve it to give the developer some reassurance that his plat will be approved. In this case, the plat has changed slightly at the lots to the front, and the technicalities of which I'll let Nick explain here in just a second, but the proposal is to switch the common open space to the mini pocket park in the middle of the entryway to the back of the lots. There was a topography issue, and to hopefully prevent a future drainage problem is the primary reason, but I'll let Nick speak to that. The overall density of this site actually drops because a lot was lost. And the amount of common open space is increased with the flip of the common open space to the rear. And so the goal tonight of the developer is to receive the approval of the final plat, to give him the assurance that it does substantially conform to the preliminary, so he can submit construction drawings to us. And he didn't want to build the subdivision and then come back at the end and it not meet. And so the request tonight is for that final plat. In the discussion portion, all of the typical subdivision approval criteria are listed there. And I did include the proposed plat, and then on the 5th page of the staff report, you can see the phasing delineated in yellow of the portion of the subdivision that this is currently under consideration for, which is basically the frontage connections exclusive of the commercial to commerce going south. And so I hope I explained that good enough, but Nick's here tonight to explain the topography issues and the technicalities of that common open space, but I'm available if you have any questions.
Anyone have questions for Austin before Nick comes up?
And this was heard by the Planning Commission with a recommendation of approval.
Thank you. Nick, you want to come up?
Nicholas Curran with Civil Link Engineering, address 3629 College Road. So this issue, I kind of realized during design. I brought it up to the developer during design that we needed to make some tweaks. I actually talked to Austin months back about, I told the developer we need to lose a lot to try to help alleviate the concerns of this hill. We did the best we could with saving the park. Then when they started clearing, we realized, and the hill could be seen, and it wasn't covered in trees, is when all of a sudden the contractor and developer called and says, hey, you're right, we need to look at this. So we looked at it, and it was still, with the redesign of losing the lot at first and leaving the park, we still had a 3-to-1 slope that was around 20 to 25 feet tall right behind the houses. The issue in these houses is that they're alley loads. So you've got garages that are at the back of the house. So this 3-to-1, 25-foot tall hill is going straight into a garage. So our worry there is drainage of just trying to capture that water and getting it around the house. It'd be a nightmare. French drains, all that kind of stuff. So the best, and this park is not usable with the hill. The park has got 15% slopes going across it. It's not like a flat park that kids can play in. So that was when we first went to Austin, and we talked about moving the park to the backside to allow us to move those lots further away from the hill. The topography is still a big hill in the back, but now instead of 3-to-1, we get to 4.5, some 5-to-1s. There is one section that's still steep, but we can't avoid it. But it fixes 99% of our problems. We still have one little area that's steep, but we have room to now work the drainage around that area. And that's the main reason for the change.
Any questions? Comments? Is there anyone that wants to speak about this issue? If not, we have a motion from the board.
I move to grant final plat approval of Weatherby West subdivision Phase 1, located on the north side of West Oak Grove Road, east of Oak Crossing Drive, and south of West Commerce Street. Do I need to say the parcels too? With items, including items 1 through 13.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. All right, Austin, we'll move on to number 15.
This is PL 1745, and the request is for final plat approval of the Whitfield Commercial Subdivision, first revision, on the south side of Whitfield Drive, west of Memphis Street, adjacent to the city shop. This is, applicant is Nick Creenan, representing John Stevenson. Both are here tonight. And the site zoning is M1. The proposal is to combine lots 9 and 10 into one lot to be 10.34 acre lot to account for future development. This was originally approved in 1999 as 2 separate parcels, and as I mentioned, they're trying to combine them into one. The standard subdivision criteria 1 through 18 are listed in your staff report, but it's important to note that when the subdivision was originally developed in 1999, the other lots were not required to have sidewalk along the frontages of Whitfield Drive. The only sidewalk present in the subdivision is on Memphis Street. And so the applicants proposed to mirror the existing subdivision and not put sidewalks on Whitfield Drive, but put sidewalks onto Memphis Street to match the existing building on the north of this site. And so in the discussion and conditions portion of the staff report, item number 5 would be of note if you guys see fit to amend the condition to delete the sidewalk on Whitfield Drive and add onto Memphis Street only. Everything else is standard subdivision approval criteria. This was heard at our last planning commission meeting and unanimously approved for, recommended for approval. Nick and John are both here tonight, and I'm available if you have any questions.
Any questions for Austin?
What did the planning commission say about the sidewalks?
It wasn't mentioned at the planning commission. The decision came between that meeting and tonight.
John or Nick, would y'all like to speak?
John Stevenson, 1589 Johnston Road, Hernando. I'm just available for any questions, any comments.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Stevens? And is anybody here to speak on this issue?
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the final plat approval for Whitfield Commercial Subdivision, first revision located on the south side of Whitfield Drive, west of Memphis Street, with the item number 5 being excluded.
Memphis Street.
Except for the Memphis Street frontage.
Except for the Memphis Street side, as proposed.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Thank you all. Item 16 is an approval of the MOA between MDOT and City of Hernando for the Mackingville Overlay Project and authority for me to sign it. Austin, would you give an overview of how we're going to proceed on that?
Yes, sir. The first step of this project was to activate the overlay, which we've done. The audit has been approved, which was holding us back from signing this MOA. And so this is just the next step in the MPO project, is the memorandum of agreement between us and MDOT that we will be proceeding with the overlay. And so after this, we'll be coming back to you for a design engineer selection.
We have to, like, December 2024 to finish it, right?
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion?
Would that be enough time? I guess they're tearing the road up now with the garbage truck or dirt trucks.
Yeah.
Are we going to be, is that going to be an issue? You think we'll have it done by then?
If not, we can ask for an extension, but I definitely want to have it done by December 24.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 17 is an approval to accept an agreement between the city and DeSoto County Schools for an additional school resource officer and for me to sign the agreement. Superintendent Usselton knows that we are bringing on a sixth school soon, so he wanted to go ahead and help us fund a sixth SRO. Chief Ellis would like to split that person's time between the middle school and the high school right now until we get the new high school. So they would provide $60,000. Chief, how much extra generally does it cost for us to outfit and hire an officer above that $60,000?
It costs us about $31,000.
Okay. Okay. Any questions? Or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is item 18. Austin, you want to talk about this one too? Or Jared?
I'll let Jared, it's really his project.
Okay, so it's the request to use funds from the tree mitigation account for landscaping at Addie Baldwin Park, where we just had to tear up everything that was there to put a new pipe in the ground. What, did we do that yesterday? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we're trying to kill several birds with one stone there. So Austin had some money put into the tree mitigation account by a developer. We have rough $2,000 that is allocated for that, if approved, to redo the landscaping at Addie Baldwin Park. Now we're taking the opportunity to, there was some damaged pipe, and Lee and Curtis and his crew, thank them for repairing that. So now we have a proposal for a design of native plants to be used for that landscape. Should be in the packet, but I have a copy here if y'all want to see that. So the request is to release that funding that's currently in the account, and we would plan for a fall planting.
Any questions or concerns? If not, can we have approval? Go ahead.
What is in the tree mitigation account currently?
And that was from the development over on Mackingville Road?
It was Cal Hogan's development on Highway 51.
That's right.
Four-Star Landing.
Okay.
And the way the mitigation fund works is the developer has two options when they do mass clearing: to either mitigate with replanting of the trees at X number of rate of what they've disturbed, or pay into the mitigation fund with a dollar amount that's in a calculated table. In this case, he didn't have a proposed development, so he just paid it. That's what the money came from.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to request, to approve the request to use the tree mitigation funds for landscaping at Addie Baldwin Park. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next up is the Regional Library. Looks like y'all have brought a crowd to us tonight. I think y'all all got a handout on your desk that you gave us.
Everybody get one.
Ma'am.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lori Barnes. I'm the Library Director of First Regional Library System, and I have with me tonight Nancy Anderson, our Business Manager, Jennifer Stevenson, our Assistant Director for Branch Services, David Powell, our Assistant Director for Technology Services, and Kelsey Jones, who is the Hernando Branch Librarian. And so we're just so glad to be with all of you here tonight. We first have to begin by thanking you, as always. We're just very grateful to you for the continued support and appropriation that you give the library system each year, and we are very proud of the Hernando Library and the services that it provides. And we're able to fulfill the demands that our customers have because of what you do and because of the support you give. Just want to let you know, library usage at Hernando Public Library, the James F. Anderson Library, is much higher this year. This includes the number of items checked out, program attendance, general library usage, and we're on track to have higher usage this year than we had in 2019, which was the last full year we had before COVID, when, as you all know, usage was interrupted, as everything was. We're also very proud of new services that we have going on this year. We've started offering some free basic computer classes this year for those who are in need. We've had seniors want to take these classes. We've had people who are wanting to improve their job readiness skills take these classes. And I just wanted to throw out a little blurb to you guys that these classes are going to be offered here in Hernando August 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. And all you got to do is call the library and register. So if you know somebody who is in need of good basic computer instruction, please ask them to check into this, because we would love to have them take these classes.
What were those dates again?
Basic, computer basics. It's actually four sections.
What were the dates again?
Oh, I'm sorry. August 4th, 11th, 18th, and the 25th. And the courses are divided into computer basics, email basics, working with attachments, and internet browsing. So those are the four segments that we are offering classes in. Also, I wanted you to know that I think it's for the first time in the history of the Hernando Library, we are offering Sunday open hours. This has been something we wanted to try just to see. We thought that it would be well received by the community, and it's going pretty well so far. We hope to be able to continue this.
What are your numbers looking like on Sundays?
Pretty average. It ebbs and flows. The summertime has been slower, but that's what we always expect for weekend hours in the summer, because the weekdays are just crazy busy in a good way. But we're open from 2 to 5 on Sunday afternoons, and we've had pretty steady usage on Sunday afternoons. I hope that it's something that we can continue to promote, and people will get used to the idea that we are open on Sundays. So hope it will grow. I did provide you some statistics. If you look at the handout here very quickly, this will give you the number of programs that we've had thus far this fiscal year, which began October 1st. We've had 5,879 in program attendance at Hernando. We've welcomed over 50,000 visitors to the library thus far this year. We've had 220 total programs, 6,537 computer uses, over 200,000 Wi-Fi sessions, which, people use that 24/7. All they have to do is drive up and they can access the Wi-Fi, as well as 83,149 items checked out to date. At this time, very briefly, I'm going to turn it over to Kelsey Jones, who is the librarian there at Hernando. She's got a few little points she would like to make.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak today. I just wanted to highlight some of the resources, programs, and other initiatives we have that have taken place thanks to your continuous support. Some of these programs include our summer reading program, which has currently 684 adults and children that have made the pledge to at least try to read every single day for 15 to 20 minutes, and this will certainly help improve our education statistics and our readiness for reading. Excluding readiness for reading, we also have partnered with Excel by 5 by providing participation books at our farmers markets, especially during Children's Day, where we hand out normally about 100 books per that event, which is wonderful and great. We also have tried to engage with the community, including Touch a Truck, the baby fair that we've done, the Hernando Dickens Epic Christmas, and of course farmers markets, as I mentioned previously. And also, we have not only provided programs inside our facility, but we've also outreached to members in the community. For instance, during Black History Month, we really tried to promote programs that highlighted the struggles of this demographic, but also the triumphs. And so we were able to invite members of this cohort to do programming with us, including Keith Hawkins, who role-played as Frederick Douglass and read a very inspirational book to the children. So just thank you for this opportunity to be able to continue to provide for our community.
Thank you. Thank you. Do y'all still have the 3D printer? Are y'all still offering that?
Yeah, it's super popular, in fact. Getting a lot of use of that. Just this summer, y'all, I hope that you've had an opportunity to see the tremendous attendance that we've had this summer at summer library program, summer reading program. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children and families at the library this summer, which we're thrilled. We're so happy to have them, and they've had a lot of fun, and it's just a great way to promote it. And they have checked out books, too. So we love providing the programs, but we love it even more when they check out books. Just in closing with tonight, I wanted to just ask the city of Hernando to please consider giving the library system level funding of $164,962 for fiscal year 2024. You gave us a slight increase last year, and we're very grateful for that, and we're asking you to maintain that number for this upcoming year, 2024. Does anybody have any questions? Is there anything I can provide you?
Where does our library kind of stack up compared to others in your system as far as visitors? Are we pretty popular, or are we up?
It's moving on up. There was a time when I think we have 14 libraries in the system. There was a time when I think it was hovering around the middle, and I believe now correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer Stevenson, but I believe we're hovering right around number 3. And I think that we're maintaining that pretty steadily with a lot of the statistics.
Mayor, we have a dedicated millage that goes towards the library.
We do, yes. So with this number, when we present the budget, we'll adjust the millage to equal that number that will be dedicated towards the libraries when we present it to the board.
Could you repeat again what you said about level funding, so when others come before this city that they will remember what this awesome library has came to ask us? They didn't ask for a 5% increase. They didn't ask for a 10% increase. But you asked for what?
We asked for level funding.
I love that.
We did. Well, y'all were very gracious to give us an increase last year, and we want to make sure that you feel like you're getting the most for your dollar.
That's
and
really welcome, too.
So not only were we able to give raises for our staff, but we were also able to increase the hours at Hernando, and we're grateful to be able to do that.
Thanks for being good stewards.
We try really hard. We try really hard to do
We
that.
appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you. It's great seeing everyone.
Let us know how we can help.
Y'all heard that, didn't you? Y'all department heads heard that, didn't you? I'm talking about city department heads. Praise the Lord.
We're going to move on to item 20. Thank you to the library representatives. Y'all don't have to stay if you don't want to. You won't be rude if you want to go home. Dan Lehman, I think you are up next to represent the DeSoto Family Theater's request for funding.
The audience is leaving.
You were going to dance, weren't you?
I'm going to do more than dance. I'm going to request level funding, right? No. Hi, I'm Dan Lehman. I live on Lambert Cove in Hernando, Mississippi. I'm not a native Mississippian. I got here as soon as I could. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I'm a transplant, but don't hold that against me. It has nothing to do with the theater. I just represent that part of the state when I came here. Anyhow, the reason I'm here is to represent what I think is a great cause. One of the things that's happening, and I know this for a fact, is that reasons for coming, living, and staying and participating in activity in Hernando is contributing, one of the contributing factors is the theater organization, DeSoto Family Theater. I don't know how many of you understand what theater can and do. You understand the impact of sports. You fund it generously. I would love to have a piece of that for this type of cause for supporting theater. The Hernando High School has grown and continues to participate in the Orpheum Theater Awards and has multiple times won it with the best actors, best performers that go on. And guess what they do? Because there's no place to stay here, they go away. We want people to stay in Hernando. We want people to stay in the county and participate in the growth of theater and the performing arts in every activity. Performing arts people go on to do great things at churches. They are the lighting people, the sound people, the performers on stage. They contribute in so many ways behind the scenes. That's very important. Theater teaches what we experience with the trees falling. I don't know how many of you know how it works, but from my standpoint, I know what they did in areas where I was, but I know my neighbors needed my help, and I've been a volunteer for the theater for a long time, and helping your neighbors through a storm, through a situation, through a crisis, someone gets hurt, is what we do. And you learn that through sports, you learn it through theater. Not everybody can play sports, but a lot of people can participate in theater. And that theater activity teaches people how to be giving back and supporting different age demographics and working together to support causes that matter, as well as tell stories about things and bring messages like what Mr. Hawkins did, is a storytelling. That's an art, that's a performance that helps people understand something about our past, not to repeat it in the future. So theater arts does a real good job of trying to help that. Kudzu right now, a partner to us in theater, and we're not trying to compete against Kudzu, because I can tell you the most important thing is when we lost, DeSoto Family Theater lost our theater. I don't know if you know what's going on at the Lander Center. There's a lot of changes going on there. We also lost our warehouse. We had over $400,000 worth of merchandise in there that we gave away to 26 different theater organizations. It went away as donations. A lot of it sits on stage at Hernando. It went as far away as Tupelo, down to Oxford. Those places got our assets, our resources. We said, when we come back, help us to participate, because we think the art form is a very good form to help rebuild a city. If you've been downtown Tupelo and seen their art district and their performing arts center, it's a wine and art district. It really brings out the people. And what we're trying to do is continue to facilitate that going forward. So I'm here to say I would like you to support not only DeSoto Family Theater, and we have a big agenda in front of us. We're doing right now, while we're waiting to have what's going to be specialized as a new theater performing arts center, we are trying to continue to do junior shows, dinner theater, events like the Dickens on the Square. We are supporting those activities. We are behind the scenes supporting everything going on at Kudzu. Many of the people who are not even on stage are behind it, like a lot of FedEx pilots that I've worked with have gone there at night to help build the stage, to make it happen, donating their time and resources, which is what helps make a volunteer community grow up. And kids see FedEx pilots, they see plumbers, they see dads, they see moms coming, they're going, that's the model I'm supposed to follow. That's the model I'm supposed to replicate. I'm supposed to give back. When I grow up, that's what I want to do, give back and help. And that's what theater is, one of the avenues to do that and support that. And I don't know if you know this recently, Theater Memphis just did a major show called Mary Poppins. That generated over $1.5 million worth of revenue through that organization. They showed 20 shows for a 1-month period, and it sold out every night. The reason Theater Memphis could do what they do is because DeSoto County has so many people on that stage because they go up there to perform. Now, if we can help build that, which is what our vision at DFT is, to help create at the Lander Center a new state-of-the-art theater performing arts center. And we are working with that real hard with the county, the board, to facilitate that, and it will help us to bring tourism, another reason for coming in, and that'll ripple out. That'll help continue to support Hernando, Kudzu, all the different high schools that we supported and continue to support. That's part of our mission. I go a lot of times and speak at the other high schools and talk to them, the kids. Not all kids know what they're going to do. What's your why? What's your purpose? What are you going to do? Not everybody's going to go on to Broadway. They're going to learn how to do something. They're going to be a good banker, an insurance agent, a city servant. Those jobs and skills, and facilitating that and helping people find it is what we do behind the scenes at the theater, like a coach does or anybody does involved in sports. So our desire is to say, please help us to continue to be able to carry on in our performing arts services to the community, not only us, but also helping our sister organization, Kudzu. They're going to be running Cats these next 2 weekends. How many of you people know or have an idea, are planning to go see Cats at Kudzu's Theater? In silence.
So maybe we need you to send us the calendar so we can help you.
You know what? I would be glad to make you know. Cats is running this weekend. It's 45 people on stage doing things with cats. There is no story to Cats. It's not like Mary Poppins where you go, there's a story here. There's just cats doing cat things. Now, theater's not for everybody. But most people in this room are all distracted by something that pops up on their phone that's a performing arts situation that you go, look at that crazy person doing something without a horse. Or look at this person who did this. Theater goes out, it becomes a part of who we are, and it can become a part of helping businesses. Most people in business want to do one thing. When I stand up in front of you, what do you want me to do? Be clear, be concise, and be to the point. Be seen, be heard, be understood. Where do you learn that? On stage. You get on stage and you don't know how to do your lines, it doesn't work. What do you want people to do in the community when you go out and represent your business? If you have an employee, what do you want that employee to do? Yes, thank you for calling. I appreciate you calling. How can I help you? You're mad. I'm sorry that we had a bad service. I would be glad to perform for you in a way that will make you feel better about who we are and what we're doing. That's training, that's performing, that's rising above yourself to bring back the person to a place where you can really facilitate a dialogue and facilitate a conclusion. We do that through theater. I try to help that happen. Our organization does, and so does Kudzu. So CATS is going on for the next 2 weekends. Those people have been working from 6 till 11 at night, working to perform a show that opens on Friday night at 7 o'clock, and it runs Saturday, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock, Sunday at 2 o'clock, and then they rest, and then they go back and do it the following weekend. And it's right here in this town, and it's bringing people in. Our restaurants are going to have an influx of people, and our businesses and traffic is going to go up because of that activity. And that's the cause that I want you to help us support, and so I'm asking for, if you could, $5,000, $2,500 to DeSoto Family Theater, $2,500 to our friends at Kudzu. We are pushing that out. I am not going to do anything other than, no matter what comes to us, we're going to continue to help support the efforts. So with that being said, what can I tell you that I haven't said, or what can I answer for you?
You might have any questions? I think you said it all. You did all those points you were telling us about.
Yeah, reasons for coming. We want you to have a reason for seeing the show, so please come. If you need tickets, come see me. I will get you in at $10. They're $17 tickets, and it's a good cause, and it's a good thing. They're doing Finding Nemo as their next show. They got a whole season planned. It's a great way for people to experience what's happening on stage in a live way.
And very seriously, when you have shows upcoming, could you send them to my office, to me or Scott, and we will help get the word out.
I appreciate that as always, and I appreciate the opportunity to stand in front of you, and I'm not my son, I can't sing or dance, so you're blessed with not having that today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dan. And I know you can dance. I saw you in Dickens.
Can do it.
Okay, item 21 is the discussion of temporarily closing Oak Grove Road between Highway 51 and Robertson Gin for paving by DeSoto County. In the additional stuff we laid on your table is a formal request from Bob Jarman, the county road manager. Just so everybody's aware, the section of Oak Grove between 51 and Robertson Gin, and then on down Robertson Gin, are part of the state aid road system. The county gets money to repave and repair those roads, and every so often, this one in our city gets redone. So those funds running through the county are going to be paving those roads in our city. But Bob Jarman said that for them to do it effectively and efficiently and get it done before school starts, they really need to close that section of Oak Grove on Monday and Tuesday to get that done. And I thought that would probably need some board approval and more than anything, to let the public know it's going to be closed for improvements.
No,
remember, that's in your ward.
Yeah, what I requested, could you ask the county if they could put up some signage prior to that, in which we're going to have to do it in the next few days, stating that this road will be closed on the 24th and 25th to give that notice.
I will.
Instead of waiting till that, I think that's Tuesday.
I'll send that request to Bob Jarman.
Oh, it's Monday, 24th is Monday.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting till Monday, so we still got tomorrow and Wednesday, so if they can put up some signage, message board or something stating that this, and that'll be both ways, one on the west end of the project and one on the east end of stating that it would be closed for 2 days, so people can already start
get ready,
adjusting as needed.
Okay. Any other concerns or questions? Can I have a motion to approve the request?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is the approval of the change order in the amount of $10,290.56 for the animal shelter that are on a list you have, and those are paid for out of donations, not out of the general city budget.
Talking about the animal shelter, are we ever gonna borrow any money for that, or are we gonna try to pay for it just without borrowing?
So when we got ready to go for a bank loan, Pam, knowing more about this than we did, called the state auditor's office, and they said we can't just go get a bank loan for something like that. We would have to do a bond issue.
Okay.
And so what I was going to propose is we get closer in the budget, see how much cash we've got left. It looks, we spent all the money, almost all the money. We're hoping we can propose to just not borrow that money and it just be paid for. That's what we're working towards.
Where'd the money, I guess, where'd the money come, contingency, I guess?
There's some things we didn't spend in the budget, maybe a little contingency. We also had an extra $300,000 come in sales tax revenue, so we've had a fairly good budget year except for the storm stuff, so. And that was out of the Public Works Fund instead of out of the general fund.
Plus, there was still, I thought you said there was still like, what is it, like 70,000 in donations that still hadn't been?
That's
that we
about-
were wanting to use on the inside for any upgrades or more
Right.
fencing or anything like that?
That's about how much is left right now. We're about to spend 10,000 of it here. so.
Okay, all right.
But, I know we had that increase in revenue, but also we working on the purchase of other things, so I want to make sure that we be mindful of that we ain't gonna, put everything up there, because we got other things that we got to look at, i.e. bond issues or whatever we're gonna do to pay for, the needs that we talking about, roads, things like that we're gonna definitely, that I think the board is agreed that we would be doing that.
We definitely need to be
And it's
discussing
gonna
it
be,
during budget
and
time.
it's gonna be done in the first phase, it won't be done in no third or fourth phase. It's gonna be one of the first phase that we can connect everything together and start moving it, then that's gonna put us in line for other grants opportunities and everything else for Renaissance Park. So I think that we need, when we talk about using that money up there in the animal shelter, me personally, now, I can't speak for nobody else, me personally, I want to look at the whole picture.
Absolutely. Yep. Any other questions?
This is donated funds, right?
This is donated funds. Have a motion to approve the change order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 23 is the approval to accept the MDEQ agreement with the number listed for the Jaybird Road Department of Health required water plant improvement. So this is the ARPA match money from the state. This one and the next item, number 24, for the East Parkway water plant upgrades, are ones that we're already in the middle of, so it makes sense for us to approve those now. We don't want to bring the other ones to you, because as soon as we get them approved and sign them, there's a short timeline, and we're not quite ready on the others. So Pam has been following the rules on them. We've also conferred with the engineers from Pickering, who helped us apply, and we all agreed, and with Joe Frank, that we need to go ahead and approve these two, and as we get closer to time, we'll approve the others. Can I have a motion on item 23?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. And item 24 is the same, except for the East Parkway water plant upgrades. Can I have a motion on that one?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 25 is the utility adjustments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Ma'am, I lost my cheat sheet on executive session. There it is. Okay, now I need a motion to go into closed session for determination of going into executive session regarding prospective litigation and administrative personnel matters.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. We are now in closed session.